Now Malcolm the Mouse was a fine private eye, the smartest detective that Swiss cheese could buy. There wasn't another in all of Oakwood who knew how to do all the things that he could, like closing his eyes and just sniffing the ground, to prove that Sylvester the Skunk was around. His office was under a mighty oak tree, with signs on the front for the whole world to see. You lose 'em, I find 'em, with the greatest of ease, and all that I ask is a piece of Swiss cheese. Well, many an oak in the great Oakwood grew, and each one was owned by a squirrel or two, who took perfect care of the beautiful trees, and rented spare space to the birds and the bees. They gathered their acorns and stored them away, to have food to eat on a cold winter's day. And just to make sure there was plenty for all, they'd plant a new oak when an old one would fall. It all worked out well, and the lovely oak wood remained big and strong as a timberland should. But one autumn day Seymour Squirrel, in tears, came running to Malcolm and cried, "It appears that someone has stolen my acorns away, and now I shall starve on a cold winter's day." But Malcolm said, "Seymour, just be at your ease. I'm taking your case for a slice of Swiss cheese." So wearing dark glasses by way of disguise, he started to search before someone got wise. That night when the animals all were asleep, and the oak wood was covered in darkness so deep that Malcolm could not see the end of his nose, he crept through the woods on the tip of his toes. Of course, the dark glasses did not help his eyes, but every detective must have a disguise. For hours and hours he searched all around, but he saw not a thing and heard not a sound. Then suddenly Malcolm could hear through the night a very low swish, and his heart jumped with fright. The moon peeked around from the edge of a cloud, and Malcolm could feel his heart pounding out loud. For right there before him, with two flaming eyes and a terrible mouth open wide in surprise, was Willie the Weasel, and there on his back were hundreds of acorns packed into a sack. "Hey, stop!" Malcolm shouted. "I found you, you thief!" But Willie said, "You have found nothing but grief." And taking the mouse by the end of the tail, he swung him around, and then he let him sail, right smash at a tree, where the mouse banged his head, and Willie went off, thinking Malcolm was dead. But a private eye has to get used to such stuff. He can't get a license unless his head's tough. So Malcolm, though dizzy and not very strong, soon got to his feet and said, "Something is wrong. Since weasels hate acorns and never eat any, then why did old Willie run off with so many? It looks like I'll have to get help before dawn to find out where all the acorns have gone." So quickly he raced up a tree in the glen where Oswald the Owl rents a bedroom and den. He knocked, and the owl said, "Go away, it's too late." But Malcolm said, "Oswald, I just cannot wait. I need someone clever and brave who with easel follow the trail of the wicked old weasel." And Oswald said, "Who?" And Malcolm said, "You. Your feathers are soft and you fly without sound, and even at night you can see all around. Besides, more important, you're wondrously wise and won't let the weasel take you by surprise." But Oswald the Owl cleared his throat and said, "Friend, I thought this secret I'd keep to the end. But this business of looking so wise is just a pose. I simply say, 'Who?' and I look down my nose, and everyone thinks I'm as wise as a judge. The reason, however, that I never budge is that I'm a silly old fake, afraid if I do things I'll make a mistake. And so, to make sure that I do nothing wrong, I never do anything all the day long." Said Malcolm, "Now listen to me, Oswald Owl. You're talking just like a ridiculous fowl. There's no one on earth who is free from mistakes. The trick is to learn from the errors one makes. Don't worry a bit if you stumble and fall. The greatest mistake's to do nothing at all. So just do your best, and I'll soon pass the word that I'm very good friends with a wonderful bird. And Oswald said, Who? And Malcolm said, You. So late the next night, when the world was asleep, the owl from his bedroom did silently creep. And though his beak chattered with terror and fright, he leaped from the tree into the inky black night, and flew on his soft silent wings through the wood, to do for his friends just the best that he could. Then even forward and backward he flew through the night, his wonderful eyes missing nothing in flight. At last, what was that in the darkness so black? It was Willie the Weasel, a pack on his back. So Oswald dropped down just as low as he could, and followed the weasel right out of the wood. He saw Willie enter a hidden black cave, and Oswald, heart-thumping, went after the knave. There in the deep cavern a candle did glow, and Oswald just gulped, because what do you know? It was Tugwell, the timber wolf, evil and black, with sacks full of acorns stacked up at his back. The weasel said, Tugwell, the job is all done. No acorn is left in the wood, not a one. And Tugwell, the timber wolf, chuckling with glee, said, The squirrels will have to starve without any acorns, you see, and then they will all have to leave the oak wood, which I will take over. Now, won't that be good? I'll cut down every tree as quick as a flash, and sell all the timber for plenty of cash. Tomorrow, these sacks to the cliff we shall take, and dump all the acorns down into the lake. Now Oswald heard all he wanted to hear, and rushing to Malcolm he said, Dear, oh dear, I know the real thief, and there's trouble ahead. And he told what that evil old timber wolf said. But Malcolm said, First I will say right out loud, there's a bird in this wood, of whom I'm very proud. And Oswald said, Who? And Malcolm said, You. Now get all the animals quick as you can. We'll have to work fast, for I think I've a plan. So Oswald went winging through the wood and through the brush, to tell everybody to come with a rush. And soon they were gathered by Seymour's oak tree, where Malcolm explained the entire mystery. But we can still win, he said, if we all try. I'll have Oswald carry me up to the sky, and when we see Tugwell and Willie, I'll blow my new police whistle and let you all know, and then you spank them as hard as you can until they go away. Isn't that a good plan? The animals said, Let us not wait a minute. But Harry the Hornet said, We can't be in it. Our nest were hurt badly by wind yesterday, and if they're not fixed, they will blow away. But the others were ready to do what they could to chase those two rascals away from the wood. Then Malcolm and Oswald flew up to the skies, and there by the lake they saw both the bad guys. And Oswald dove down like a jet-propelled missile, while Malcolm blew hard on his new police whistle. Then all of the animals jumped from the wood and spanked the two robbers as hard as they could. But Tugwell and Willie were both very strong, and Malcolm saw everything going wrong. For Tugwell and Willie, with teeth sharp and white, were biting whomever came into their sight. But wait! From a distance the owl heard a sound, like hundreds of buzzsaws all spinning round. 'Twas Harry the Hornet and all of his brothers, now rushing to help Malcolm the Mouse and the others. They flew in the shape of an Indian arrow, that's sharp at the point and as long and as narrow. Down out of the sky like small fighter planes winging, they gave the two robbers a terrible stinging. But Tugwell and Willie had all they could take. They jumped off the cliff and fell into the lake, where they both swam away just as fast as they could, and never again were found in the oak wood. The others were proud of the battle they had won, and all cheered for Malcolm and what he had done. But Malcolm said modestly, Don't be absurd. Give thanks where they're due to a wonderful bird. And Oswald said, Who? And Malcolm said, You. Malcolm the Mouse, Private Eye by Larry Sawyer, Circa, 1979.